So guys, update 36 is now live for State of Decay 2, and we have some really good stuff here that's making some big changes to the game that I think a lot of you guys are going to like and that I've really liked now that I've gotten to test this. Now, this update has been dubbed the quality of life fixes, but these new changes are things that we've been asking for a long time and things that I've been wanting to see. I've gotten, like I said, to test them all out, and it's been a lot of fun. I also have, guys, a bonus piece of info that the developers have been messing with on the testing realm, and I'm wondering if we're going to get a big update in the future to something that we have all wanted to see, especially myself. I'll talk more about that later in this video, but let's go ahead and dive straight into this with one thing, guys, that I am so excited. I'm personally excited to see. That's now the ability to deposit your rucksacks at an upgraded outpost, which has to be a level 2 or higher. Now, this isn't exactly like dropping your rucksack at your parking spot with your car and it being that easy, but here you simply just walk to your outpost stash, and now there's this cool little box that says deposit your rucksack, and that's key because you can get more strategic with your looting. Like, now I can totally see where you're maybe having a general area where you're wanting to go ahead and loot, and then maybe you set up a temporary level 2 outpost, and then you're just going back and forth there versus always running back to my original base, which could be very far away and really make things a lot more tedious. And then, of course, the general benefit of just going to a nearby outpost that you already have established in the past and depositing your rucksacks. And then, of course, you still have that added benefit of switching your characters at your outpost. So kind of in theory, you can actually maybe never have to go back to your main base unless you have to now if you want to set it up that way. Now, I can definitely see some hardcore players though not liking this change because it does make the game a bit easier, but me personally, I've been a big fan of this so far that I've gotten to mess with it, and it's been really cool to see. Now, real quick, guys, I do have a new State of Decay channel launching here soon where I'll be doing updated new tutorials. Of course, I'll be doing some Let's Plays, and I'll be doing even some like State of Decay 3 speculative videos, and I don't know what else. We'll be doing a lot of stuff over there, so definitely go subscribe to that new channel as the content is coming very soon. All right, now another awesome addition is this new take all action from containers. So basically, when you loot, instead of just hitting a button to take one item at a time, if you're in a hurry and maybe you're just getting run down by Zeds and you need to hurry up, you simply just press one button and take everything inside. For me on PC, it was just hitting the space bar and I looted everything. Not only that, there is now a drop item action, and you can do this when you maybe have to sort through your items a little bit. So you want something a little bit more easier. So that's definitely something I would qualify as a quality of life change. Now, another action that we can take is being able to detach weapon attachment directly from the supply locker. And this works exactly how you'd expect. You can't attach anything from the supply locker itself, but now you don't have to go through the tedious motions of putting it in your inventory, then detaching it and doing all that jazz. Simply, you just go ahead and you can detach it straight from that supply locker. So really happy to see that. Now, another new change, guys, and this was really interesting, was a change made to bloaters. According to the patch notes, it says the VFX and damage of the gas burst are better matched, so it no longer looks and feels like you were damaged unfairly. It also says to compensate, the bloaters will now also try to get slightly closer to your survivor before exploding. Now, the first part of that, I kind of didn't understand it at first, and when I read that, I was definitely a little bit confused. I'm like, what are they talking about? So I went in and tested it myself, and it was really fascinating what happened here. So the bloaters really needed to get very close to explode. I mean, just look at the distance it took for it to then pop when it got, it had to get so close to me. Then what I noticed is that the damage is definitely super interesting because if you're in the middle of a bloater cloud, you're taking very, very heavy damage. Now, there's no reason for you to kind of be walking in circles in a bloater cloud like I was, but you can see what it's doing. Now, if you're on the edges and you're just trying to get away, it doesn't do as much damage. So if you happen to get caught not looking, just make sure you run away as fast as you can. Now, it does seem like bloaters can absolutely be more dangerous now if you get hit without seeing it coming. That was literally my first initial thought. But after doing some testing, because currently the beta version isn't updated with the patch, I went over there and tested it. And sure enough, guys, getting hit immediately with a bloater resulted in big damage being taken and staying near the cloud in any capacity. So now I truly understand what this change is basically all about. The game's just being more realistic. If you're in the middle of the cloud, you're obviously going to take heavy damage like I did and like you have before. If you're on the edges though, it won't be as bad. So my final thought is that it is kind of a nerf actually to bloaters, which I initially really thought it was making them slightly more dangerous, but really not even close. I like this change because like the patch says, the visual now matches the damage. If you get caught not looking and you're in the middle, you're screwed and you'll be taking that heavy damage. But if you happen to see it coming but they still explode, you won't be as punished. So overall, I think this is a great change in my book and I was really glad to see it. Now another interesting and happy to see change is more characters can now get the Blood Plague Survivor trait. According to Twitter from Undead Labs themselves, it says that previously this would only show up on 2 leader types, and now it's been expanded to all 4, which I guess kind of maybe like doubles the chances of you seeing this trait, already rare traits. But I gotta say, sadly, I have tried to roll this and I've never gotten it, and I've totally have given up trying to find this trait. Maybe now I'll try to see if I can get it again, because guys, this game for me has gotten a lot harder. So I'm definitely going to try rolling it if I can, because it is by far one of the best traits you can get. There's also now an expansion of new randomly generated character names and nicknames that are being added to the pool of survivors, which is, by the way, which is great, because I actually did get my name in this game through a friend and other YouTuber, Ghost. Go check out his channel. But this means now I think with this patch you'll finally get to see my name in game. Let me know if you find me, because I have a really funny little nickname that a lot of you are going to get a kick out of, and it fits very well. So let me know if you end up finding me. All right, and finally, a big update to the Black Plague Heart, and this is a pretty extensive set of changes happening to what was a very overpowered Bane, guys, and I've seen horror stories of this curveball wipe entire communities dead. There is dozens upon dozens of stories of this Black Plague Heart just killing survivors and making life miserable for players. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the extensive changes there up on the screen so you guys can see, and you can tell they really nerfed a lot of different stuff. But let me say this, guys. I mean this. Let me say this. This is the first time that I fought this thing before the original curveball update even landed. So I fought it way before I was probably one of the first people to fight this thing. It was not like this. This thing is insanely overpowered, and I see why everybody has struggled with it. And this was post update. I literally killed this thing this morning as of the time of making this video. This fight took me 40 minutes to down, and I only had this two-hander that broke a few times and I had to have it repaired. And then I of course had to keep spawning consumables, because this was a new community on a new account that I've been playing the last 30 days, because I'm getting ready to launch the new channel and doing let's plays and live streams. And so I've been using this new community, and I just was not ready for this fight. It was really crazy. The dot damage that you take over time was intense. But what I found funny was in the patch notes, it said the fuel drain speed is reduced, but if you notice, my gas immediately drained upon entering the area with my car, which I knew it would happen, but I thought it said in the patch that it would happen much slower, and no, it really didn't. At least I don't know what it was like before, but my goodness, it immediately just drained. So I'm kind of getting this feeling that this was a nerf, but not a huge nerf like maybe some were hoping for. Now on the hardest difficulty, if you're not a veteran of lethal, I actually don't think I would touch this, and I would just ignore it and maybe even move maps or something, because this thing really does live up to the hype of the fight and the challenge. And this is, again, I repeat, this was post the nerf, and I struggled fighting this thing, and I have over 1,000 hours logged into this game, probably about like 900 in lethal. It's fun, but my goodness, it's insane. And maybe if you're in the lower difficulties, it might not actually be as bad of an experience, and the effects of all these nerfs will actually be felt in those difficulties. But on lethal, this was brutal, and I don't want to say it needs more nerfs, because I eventually beat it, but yeah, it took a long time, and it's gonna take a long time to defeat it. Again, I only had a two-hander, but still, it's nuts. Now the last thing is a host of bug fixes that I'm gonna throw up on the screen, and some nice changes there. But let's go ahead though and end this on the thing that I wanted to speculate about. Now, you guys know in the past I've made videos discovering things coming for new updates, and the fact is, guys, is that State of Decay 3 still has a ways to go. Right now, Undead Labs employs a whole new dev team to these current updates, like update 36, and it's called Wushu. This is a team of developers down in UK, so this is not Undead Labs doing these updates. And I'm not sure how many more big updates that we're going to continue to see or how many we have left, but I think they are absolutely cooking up more stuff. I did find some time ago that they've been messing with enclaves, and I found this in the usual way that I've managed to find things in the past in previews of updates before anyone else. I found this in the dev menu, so I don't know what this means, guys. I don't know if maybe they're making some more quality of life changes to enclaves, or maybe they're experimenting with how they behave, or maybe they're going to make them, maybe if they can, more dynamic. I don't think they can, but who knows? This dev team has been able to do some stuff that Undead Labs has never even thought of, like the curveball update. They definitely have a fresh set of mind that goes into this that, you know, the old team didn't have. But either way, they have been messing with enclaves. So far, it's not something big that I found because there's really nothing in depth, but I did find something. There's also some other stuff that's not as big deal that I won't say in this video, but they're definitely messing with some stuff. I'll keep paying attention as always. And I also want to point out that some time ago there was something I had found where they were messing with siphoning gas in cars, an action that we still to this day don't have in the game, but it's something that I know they've played with, but they just never implemented it, and they wanted to, but they just never got to it. And I'm just bringing this up because it's possible that they mess with stuff, but they don't ever really intend to bring it. They just experiment and see if they can get away with it and see if they can add it to the game. Either way, guys, I'm so happy that this update has come out because it really did address and add some really cool stuff that was needed. There's still more updates coming in the future, and I'm really excited. As I mentioned, guys, I have a whole new channel kicking off here soon where I'll be doing more gameplay, mini tutorials of State of Decay 2, and of course we'll be doing some upcoming State of Decay 3 kind of more speculative videos and stuff, like more discussion based videos. So definitely sub to that channel and check out the latest new info that I found about State of Decay 3 and all the stuff we've known about the game. That video is up on the screen.